Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If you want to win in life, you've got to learn to focus on yourself and keep your mouth shut. See, too many people are out here announcing their every move like it's a press conference. I'm about to start a business. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm working on myself. And then what happens? Nothing. Because talking about it feels like progress, but it ain't. The real progress happens when you get to work in silence. Your growth, that ain't a group project. Stop waiting for people to clap for you. Stop expecting validation, because the truth is, not everybody wants to see you win. Some people are watching just to see you fail, and guess what? When you're silent, you don't give them anything to work with. Energy is currency. You wouldn't hand your paycheck over to strangers, would you? So why are you spending your energy explaining yourself to people who don't even care? Instead of talking, use that energy to hustle, to grind, to become the best version of yourself. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Some folks are only around to take notes on your downfall. Keep your business to yourself. Move in silence, and when they finally notice, it'll be because your success is too loud to ignore. Discipline over distractions. You got to lock in. The world is noisy. Social media, gossip, opinions, everybody's got something to say. But at the end of the day, those voices won't put food on your table or success in your hands. That's on you. And here's the real truth: elevation requires isolation. The higher you go, the lonelier it gets. But that's okay. Because the ones who can't handle your silence, they were never meant to be part of your success. So focus on yourself, stay silent, and let your results do all the talking. Let me tell you something, there's real power in silence. See, we live in a world where everybody wants to announce what they're about to do. They want to tell the whole world about their plans, their goals, their dreams. But the truth is, talking about it don't make it happen. Action does. When you start moving in silence, something shifts. You stop looking for approval. You stop waiting for people to understand your vision. You stop explaining yourself to folks who don't even have their own lives figured out. And the moment you do that, you unlock a new level of focus. Too many people out here are trying to impress folks who don't even care. You ever notice how folks will clap for you when you talk about your dreams, but when you actually start making moves, they get quiet? That's because not everyone wants to see you win. Some people are just here for the entertainment. They want to hear about your struggles, your setbacks, your failures, but they don't really want to see your success. And that's exactly why you got to stop talking and start working. You don't owe anybody an explanation for why you're grinding. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Just do the work. Because when you move in silence, you take away the distractions. You stop wasting time trying to convince people of your worth. You stop giving them a chance to plant doubt in your mind. Instead, you put your head down, stay focused, and let your results do all the talking. The most successful people, they're not out here making noise about what they're about to do. They're too busy doing it. They're too busy building, creating, learning, growing. And by the time people notice, it's already done. That's the level you got to be on. Stop looking for validation. Stop announcing every step. Just work. Just build. Just grow. Because here's the truth: when you really start succeeding, you won't have to say a word. People will see it. Your success will speak for itself. They'll see you driving what you want to drive, living where you want to live, doing what you always said you would do. And the best part, you won't have to explain how you did it. They'll already know. They'll know it was the nights you stayed up late working. They'll know it was the sacrifices you made. They'll know it was the discipline, the dedication, the consistency, and they'll respect it even if they never supported you in the first place. So if you're serious about leveling up, stop announcing it. If you've got a dream, keep it close to your chest and work on it. If you've got a plan, don't let everybody in on it. Move in silence. Focus on yourself. Stay locked in. And when the time is right, when you've put in the work, when you've built something real, that's when your success will speak for you. And trust me, when success speaks, everybody listens.
At some point, you have to realize that your growth is your responsibility. It's not a group effort. It's not a community project. It's not something that requires a team vote. Your growth, that's on you. Too many people are waiting for someone to come along and push them, motivate them, give them the green light to start. But if you're serious about leveling up, you can't wait for permission. You can't wait for approval. You can't sit around expecting someone else to hold your hand through the process. Because the truth is, most people are too busy dealing with their own lives to be worrying about yours. Even the ones who love you, even the ones who support you, They got their own struggles, their own goals, their own problems. And at the end of the day, nobody is going to want your success as bad as you do. That means you've got to be your own biggest supporter. You've got to be your own coach, your own cheerleader, your own accountability partner. Stop expecting your friends to clap for you every time you take a step forward. Stop expecting family to always understand your vision. Some people won't get it. Some people won't care. And some people will straight up try to hold you back, not because they're bad people, but because they don't see the same future you see. And that's okay, because it ain't their job to see it. It's yours. When you really start growing, you're going to have to do a lot of things alone. You're going to have to say no to certain invitations. You're going to have to spend nights working when everybody else is partying. You're going to have to sacrifice comfort for progress. And you're going to have to be okay with people not understanding why you're moving differently. Because real growth, it requires separation, it requires discipline, it requires you to take full control over your own life, no matter who matters not. You ever notice how a lot of the most successful people had to go through a season of isolation before they made it? That's because the process of leveling up isn't meant to be a social event. It's personal, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, and most importantly, it's yours. Nobody else can do it for you. So if you're sitting around waiting for a support system to make you feel ready, stop. If you're expecting people to push you forward, stop. Because the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to drag you across the finish line. And nobody is going to care about your growth more than you do. You have to take full ownership of your own journey. You have to wake up every day and decide that you're going to push yourself. You have to be willing to fail, to learn, to get back up, and to keep going no matter what. Because when you finally make it, when you finally become the person you were meant to be, it won't be because a group of people carried you there. It will be because you put in the work, you made the sacrifices, you showed up for yourself. Your growth ain't a group project, it's a solo mission. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start making real progress. Every single day, you wake up with a limited amount of energy. It's just like money in your bank account. You only have so much to spend, and once it's gone, it's gone. The question is, where are you spending it? Because just like with money, some people are reckless with their energy. They waste it on things that don't serve them, on people who drain them, on situations that don't move them forward. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, unmotivated, stuck. See, energy is currency. It's one of the most valuable things you have. And just like with money, if you're not careful about where you invest it, you'll end up broke physically, mentally, and emotionally. Some people are out here giving all their energy to negativity. They're arguing with people who don't even matter. They're getting caught up in drama that has nothing to do with them. They're worrying about things they can't control. And all the energy, it's wasted, it's gone. It could have been spent on something productive. It could have been used to build something, to learn something, to move forward. But instead, it got thrown away on things that don't bring any kind of return. Then you've got people who are giving their energy to the wrong people. You ever notice how some people drain you just by being around them? It's like every time you talk to them, they leave you feeling tired, frustrated, or uninspired. That's because some people are energy thieves. They take and take and take, but they never give anything back. They don't add value to your life. They don't push you forward. They don't support your growth. And yet, too many people keep spending their energy on these kinds of relationships, hoping something will change. But the truth is, the only thing that needs to change is where you're investing your energy. And then there's social media, the biggest energy trap of them all. People are scrolling for hours, comparing their lives to strangers, getting caught up in arguments in the comment section, wasting time on things that have zero impact on their actual lives. Meanwhile, their dreams are sitting on the shelf collecting dust. Their goals are getting further and further away because they're too busy spending energy on things that don't matter. You've got to start treating your energy like it's money in your pocket. Ask yourself, is this worth the investment? If I spend my energy here, will it give me something back? Will it help me grow? Will it bring me peace? Will it push me closer to where I want to be? If the answer is no, then stop spending your energy there. Start putting your energy into things that matter, into your goals, into your health, into your mindset. into the people who truly support and uplift you, into the things that bring you peace, joy, and progress. Because when you start spending your energy wisely, you start seeing real change in your life. You stop feeling drained all the time. You stop feeling stuck. You stop waking up wondering why you're not getting anywhere. Because now every bit of energy you spend is moving you forward. Your energy is your currency. You can either waste it on things that don't matter or you can invest it in your future. The choice is yours. Not everyone in your life deserves a front row seat to your journey. See, too many people are out here trying to bring everybody along with them. They want to take friends, family, old acquaintances, anybody who was there at the beginning. But the hard truth is, not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people aren't supposed to have that kind of access to you. When you start elevating, when you start changing, when you start becoming the person you're meant to be, some folks are going to get uncomfortable. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. It forces them to look at their own lives, and instead of using that as motivation, some will turn that into resentment. That's why you've got to be careful about who you let close to you. Some people are only there for entertainment. They're not watching because they want to see you win, they're watching because they're waiting for you to fall. They're taking notes, looking for cracks, hoping for a mistake. And the more access you give them, the more ammunition they have. Every detail you share, every struggle you confide in them, every move you announce is just another thing they can use against you when the time comes. And then there are the people who are only there when things are easy. As long as everything is good, as long as you're not changing too much, as long as you're staying in the same place they're comfortable with, they'll cheer for you. But the moment you start moving different, the moment you start focusing on yourself, setting boundaries, making progress, they start acting funny. They start pulling away. Some even start throwing shade, talking behind your back, or trying to make you feel guilty for growing. You've got to recognize these people for who they are and adjust accordingly. Stop giving everyone VIP access to your life. Stop explaining yourself to people who aren't even trying to understand you. Stop keeping folks around just because of history. Just because someone was there at the start doesn't mean they deserve to be there at the finish. Protect your space, protect your energy, keep your circle tight. Only allow people in who genuinely support you, who want to see you win, who clap for you even when they're not in the spotlight. The right people will never feel threatened by your growth. The right people won't need you to explain why you're moving the way you are. They'll just get it. At the end of the day, your journey is yours. Your success, your peace, your happiness, it's all too valuable to be shared with just anyone. So be selective, be intentional, because not everyone deserves a front row seat. Success isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's not about who you know or where you come from. At the end of the day, success comes down to one thing: discipline. The ability to show up, do the work, and stay focused even when you don't feel like it. Even when it's hard, even when nobody is watching. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they get distracted. They let the little things pull them away from what really matters. Social media, pointless drama, bad habits, toxic people, it all eats away at their time, their focus, and their energy. And the worst part, they don't even realize it's happening. They wake up every day with dreams, with goals, with ambitions, but instead of working toward them, they let distractions take over. Hours wasted scrolling, days wasted making excuses, months wasted waiting for the right time. And before they know it, years have passed and they're still in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Discipline is what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. It's about deciding what you want and committing to it, no matter what. It's about saying no when everyone else is saying yes, no to partying when you need to be grinding, no to sleeping in when you need to be working, no to meaningless conversations, pointless arguments, and situations that don't serve your purpose. Because every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your dreams. It's easy to let distractions take over because distractions feel good in the moment. Scrolling through your phone is easier than building something. Watching TV is easier than working out. Procrastinating is easier than pushing yourself. But here's the thing: easy never built anything great. Easy won't get you the life you want. Easy won't separate you from the pack. If you want to win, you have to make discipline your foundation. You have to wake up every day with a clear goal and attack it, no matter how you feel. You have to push through the days when you're tired, the days when you're unmotivated, the days when it feels like nothing is happening. Because that's what discipline is doing the work, even when the excitement is gone. And don't get it twisted, motivation is great, but it's temporary. You're not always going to feel inspired. You're not always going to feel like working. But that's where discipline kicks in. Discipline is what keeps you going long after the motivation fades. Discipline is what keeps you on track when distractions try to pull you away. Look at the people who have made it, the ones who turned their dreams into reality. They didn't get there by accident. They got there because they stayed locked in when everyone else got distracted. They got there because they were willing to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long term success. So ask yourself, are you serious about your future, or are you letting distractions steal it from you? Are you putting in the work, or are you making excuses? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to one choice: discipline over distractions. Choose wisely. There comes a point in your life when you realize that if you really want to elevate, if you really want to grow, you're going to have to separate yourself. Not because you don't love the people around you, not because you think you're better than anybody, but because elevation requires isolation. Most people never reach their full potential because they're too afraid to be alone. They stay in circles that no longer serve them, hold on to friendships that drain them, and keep entertaining environments that stunt their growth. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they can't move forward, why their dreams feel so far away. But the truth is, you can't take everyone with you. Some people are only meant to be part of your past, not your future. And until you accept that, you keep holding yourself back. Isolation isn't about cutting everyone off, it's about cutting off the noise. It's about silencing the distractions, the negativity, the opinions, and the energy that's keeping you from becoming your best self. When you're always surrounded by people, always caught up in conversations, always seeking validation, you lose focus. You get caught up in what everybody else is doing instead of locking in on what you need to be doing. You ever notice how the most successful people have a season where they disappear? They're not at the parties, they're not hanging out, they're not involved in the same old things. That's because they've entered a phase of isolation. They've realized that if they really want to get to the next level, they have to step away from the crowd. Because when you isolate yourself, you start hearing your own thoughts more clearly. You start discovering who you really are, what you really want, and what really matters. The truth is, growth is uncomfortable. It's lonely. Because the higher you climb, the fewer people will understand you. The more focused you become, the more people will think you're acting different. And you know what? They're right. You are different. You're evolving. You're leveling up. And not everyone is going to get it. Some people will try to guilt you into staying the same. Some will throw shade saying you've changed. And you know what your response should be? I was supposed to. If you want something extraordinary for your life, you can't live like everybody else. You can't think like them. You can't move like them. You have to be willing to separate yourself. You have to be willing to go through seasons where it's just you, your work, and your vision. And yes, it might get lonely, but that's the price of elevation. You have to be okay with missing out on temporary fun for permanent success. You have to be okay with outgrowing conversations that no longer add value to your life. You have to be okay with people misunderstanding your silence, with them thinking you're too serious or too focused. Let them think what they want, because while they're busy talking, you'll be busy building. And when you finally reach that next level, when you finally step into the life you've been working for, the same people who questioned your isolation will be the ones asking how you did it. They'll be the ones looking up, realizing that while they were busy staying comfortable, you were putting in the work. So don't be afraid to step away. Don't be afraid to walk alone for a while, because elevation isn't for everyone. And if you really want it, you have to be willing to separate yourself from anything and anyone that's not aligned with where you're going. At the end of the day, elevation is a personal journey. It's not meant for everyone, and it's certainly not a group effort. If you truly want to grow, to succeed, to step into the best version of yourself, you have to be willing to separate from the things, the habits, and sometimes even the people that are holding you back. Isolation isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's in those moments of solitude that you sharpen your vision, strengthen your discipline, and develop the mindset that will take you to the next level. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will be lonely at times. But that's the price of becoming something greater. Because when you come out on the other side, when you've put in the work, stayed focused, and build yourself up, you won't just be different, you'll be unstoppable. And the people who once doubted you, questioned you, or didn't understand your journey, they'll have no choice but to respect the results. So embrace the isolation, lock in, stay committed to your growth. Because while the crowd stays the same, the chosen ones evolve. And when you elevate, your success will speak louder than any explanation ever could.